streaming from my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in so it won't die on me. Hopefully everybody can hear me good enough. Let's just show you what's going on here. I'm going to be taking and setting this bad boy up. From the factory, this is supposed to come with 9s. I believe it came with 10s. The action is a little too high for me, and the neck is almost completely straight. So, I need to go ahead and set this up the way I would like to have it played. And so that's what I decided to do. And we're going to pick our strings today, figure out what we want to put on here, maybe give you some tips on changing forward row stuff, and then just go from there. So let me just show you kind of what I have here going on. On my workspace here, I have got all my necessary tools. Okay, so first of all, I don't need the tape measure, but and I'll get to this in a moment. I have the screwdriver with one of these little tuning peg winders. I've got my guitar cloth. I've got my needle nose and wire cutter clipper things here. I've got an action gauge so that I can test my action when I get everything done. I've got a tuner, got some pens and pencils I don't need, another string winder I don't need, got me some Dr. Pepper, and I got me some blueberry lemon Pop-Tarts. These are limited edition, and these are awesome. So if you can get those, get those. And then the last thing I've got for now, I've got, other tools and stuff over here. But the last thing I got for now, this just came in like the day before yesterday. This is from Chad Boston. This is a guitar hand socket set. And I will leave links in the description as soon as this live stream is over. I'll go leave you a link to that. But if you want to go to chadboston.com, you can find this website under the store, okay, under guitar and tools, guitar products and tools or something like that. You can get this in either, it comes in different colors. I decided to get mine black with red trim. I like the way it looks. And so with that being the case, the one thing I'm going to try for sure is this is from Dunlop/Planet Waves, but I wanted to test out Chad's over here, and he has got one already in this kit. Okay, it's got several bits that come with it, but it looks like it fits in here just fine, and it's magnetic, so you can use all these are magnetic, so they've all got these little small magnets that correspond with them, and these have little gears on them so that you can actually grab onto them and twist any kind of nuts that are typical to find in guitars. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn this over here, and I also have another guitar rag I need to go get. So let me just go ahead and tilt that up a little bit so maybe you can see a little bit more. All right, I will be checking the chat from time to time. Can I do that here? Yes. Okay, so I will be checking the chat from time to time, and we will go from there. Okay, so here we go. Let me go ahead and get my other guitar cloth. And the reason I want this guitar cloth is to put underneath the bridge of the guitar so I don't lose any, I don't have any problems with this thing dipping into the frame. Okay, so stuff that into there, and yeah, it'll be pretty steady from doing that. So what we want to do now is we're going to go ahead and take off this little fret dampener thing, fret wrap, and apologies for me sniffing all the time. These allergies are crazy. Alright, so let's see here. I guess the first thing we need to do is loosen the strings, and we will do that with this cool little tool here. So this is a way to tighten it, so we're going to go righty for loosey on the guitar. So we need to go to loose here. Oh, that's nice. It fits pretty nice. What about the other direction? It's nice either way, so that's good. That's the one thing I don't like about this other one, is it only fits one way. When you get it right here, it doesn't fit on your tuning peg, so you always have to get it one way to make it work right. It will not fit any other way. But it looks like Chad figured that out, so we can do it no matter which way the thing is facing. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and wind all these. Or actually, before I do that, we need to undo this part. So He does not have a hex key for that, I don't think. But that's okay. That's what the Ibanez tool is for. I'll get it. Go ahead and get this handy Ibanez tool to remove these all the way because I will not be needing them. Hopefully all I'll need to do, I'm pretty sure I might have to set this thing up. Like I said, I think this has 10s on it. If it does, I'm going to 9s. And when I do, I may have to set this thing up completely different. And that's can be a hassle, especially with the forward ropes. So now let's go ahead and once again let's get rid of these. To me, that's too many winds. So yeah, I'm gonna get this to where it's comfortable to play. I like playing it right now, but these strings are not holding their tune, and I don't think that's the guitar's fault. I think that's the string's fault. So I'm gonna go with that idea. It's very smooth. Fits on there very nicely. Good job, Chad. Chad also does. He also has the Line 6, the official Line 6 Helix Facebook group. So he's like the guy that started that, and that's where I first learned about Chad. He's got some good products, really good products. I also have his. Let me think. On my Helix, I've got his screen protector and his labeling system that has color-coded nuts and different things like that. Now normally you would want to change your strings on a forward rows one at a time. But I'm doing all of these because I need to change all of them. I haven't done this yet. And I've got, like I said, I've got a cloth over here, so it's going to prevent the guitar bridge from going into the body too much. All right, so now that that's done, I'll leave that on. Make sure everything looks all right still over here. All right. Yeah, looks like we're doing good. Okay, so the bridge is actually sinking just a little bit, but not too bad. And I'm not going to need this for now either, so I'm going to go ahead and get that out of there. I got a little piece of chocolate in there or something when I was eating not long ago. Alright, so next up is we've got to remove, I'm actually going to need that so that I can get to these screws back here. So I need to get to these screws back here, which I think as well are, yes, there are 3s as well. I'm just going to do those and they come right out. And we do not want to lose our screw blocks, so that's one thing we do not want to do. So I'm going to wait, if I can remember, to turn this over. Go ahead and screw them all the way so that they will not fall out. So that's a good tip. Screw them when you release the string and take it out. Screw the screw all the way in so the block does not fall out when you turn it this way and that. And you can always unscrew it later. Actually, let's do this. Do all of these. Come out. Screw all these back in. Make sure that the blocks are not lost. Not very tight, just until it stops. And you can let it go. And you should have no problems with losing any of these blocks. Okay. Back in there. Okay. Now the fun part of getting off of this. Look at that. That's way too many winds. You don't need that many winds on the guitar. At this point, if it was just me, normally I would be listening to some music. Probably I've been listening to Mr. Fastfinger lately. He's got a new album out, Solarium Dreams. check him out. Shout out to Mr. Fastfinger Sensei. Or Plenty. I listen to a lot of Plenty. Or the new Bumblebee album, which I've got. I love that album. It's a really good album. Or, of course, my guy, Marcos Foley. So that's the main guys I've been listening to right now. And then I've got a whole pile of strings that I still need to figure out what to do with. These are strings I've used, and I've got like 2 boxes, or a whole box full of used strings. And here's an easy way to wrap these up. Just take the gnarly part, give yourself a little bit of slack, tuck it around and under the string, and then come over and through. And you'll just continue to go over and through for the rest of the way. That's the way I've always done my strings. And that's the best way I've found to do it. And then when you're done, you can tuck this one back over one more time, and you're good to go. Okay? So that goes in the box over here, along with all these others. And now we can get to work on, let's test out some of these things here. It's taut, good deal. I also like to test if any of these are kind of loose. I will take my little screwdriver here and tighten those a little bit. That one fell a little loose. There we go. Loose. Because they will work loose again. We don't have to, I mean, that's like way too loose. Which again, if you're just tuning in, I'm just setting up my Ibanez JEM JR, which I haven't had the chance to yet since I bought it. I just feel like they could fall right off, man. That's way too loose for me. Yeah, feel it. Feel that? That shouldn't be happening. There we go. Okay, now I leave all these straight up so it's a lot easier to turn later, but ouch. That hurt. First, what I was trying to say is I'm going to try to line these holes up, okay? So let's just do it the fast way. Line them up to where they will come right into this, just like that, and then try to straighten that up again so that this doesn't get in the way. That's pretty cool. The fact is, this is small enough. Now, that's another thing I like about this. It's big and bulky, so it's easy to hit these over here when they're like this. This is smaller, so that's cool. Back this way. Try to line it up just a little bit. Line this one up. And that was good. So, alright, there we go on that. Now, let's get our handy dandy, because this looks fairly clean, so I don't have to fool with that. But we'll go ahead and get some deep conditioner, I guess. Get that going over here. And let's just go ahead and check some comments after I get done applying this. Hope we got some people showing up. This is just a chill out live stream. I wanted to be out here in the shed. It's a beautiful day after 2 days of storms, or 1 day of storms, a tornado warning we was under. Just wanted to have a little time out here to myself in the man cave studios. Okay, that's done. Go back over here to this cloth. Do we have any comments? We do not. Do we have any people watching? We do not. Hopefully everybody knows about it. Let's just rub all this in. Conditions the wood. Brings out a nice luster on it. Nice shine. Usually the first time I do a guitar like this, I like to give it the glamour treatment. So I'll be polishing the frets. I will be conditioning the fretboard, polishing the guitar itself, changing the strings, setting everything up. Depending on how bad the intonation is, I may or may not be doing that, because that's a whole nother beast. And to loosen strings, tighten them back up, loosen them, tighten them back up. These Ford Road style guitars, they got pretty tough to do, and I don't have that Ibanez tool to do it with, to hold the saddles in place while I adjust them. So it's usually a loosen the string, adjust the saddle, tighten the string, tune it, see if it's right. If it's not, do it all over again. So it's a big process. And just by that, let's see how dirty this thing is. Some of that's coming from the frets as well. So what I usually do to polish the frets is got my other little thing here, this little tackle box full of tools that I use quite a bit. I usually take and use this 8000 grit. I think this actually came in one of the Dunlop kit probably, and you can tell it probably needs to be replaced, but I usually take that and just give it a little zip over the frets, polishing that up just a little bit as much as we can. Try to avoid hitting the wood at all, because we don't want to scar the wood, scratch the wood, anything like that. Replace this because it's all home. The best way to do this is just two at a time. Somebody's grilling out, man. It smells good. I've got my shed doors wide open so I can enjoy the fresh air. It is nice. That's good for now. Okay, put this back. Now it's time for the polish. So let's get the guitar polish in cleaner. We'll take that same cloth. I'll just get a clean side. Anybody else? No, I got one viewer. Thanks for watching. Currently setting up my JEM. Just got done with the fretboard. Now I'm going to get some polish on the guitar itself. And I'm just using, this is the Dunlop guitar maintenance kit. It comes with all these different things here. Normally I'd probably, the plastic is still on this pick guard, but normally I'd take it off, but I really want to fool with unscrewing these screws and getting the stuff, plastic out from underneath it, so I'll probably just leave it on. I mean, it don't hurt anything to leave it on. It's not doing anything to it, so I'll probably just leave that on until it starts peeling. That's when I would want to definitely take it off. But I don't want to fool with taking off all these different things here. That's what this is for. if you ever need to take off these, you just slip that on and pop them right off. That's what that's for. It's a pretty cool little tool. Alright, so check what's going on the back of it. Not the back, but this back part here. The cloth is covered. Now, if this came out, I mean, I could leave it. I could leave this to where the cloth's not in there. But it's just easier to get the strings going when it's somewhat level, so you don't have to keep backing the claw off and then readjusting the claw in the back and all that. But so that's the reason to leave the cloth in it. Try to leave it as flat as possible so that it will help decrease the tension from the springs and the strings conflicting with one another. Okay, so that's good on that. Let's get in the middle here where all that dust collects. Looks like they've already removed plastic for me. I didn't know the plastic was already moved. Because I'm seeing a little plastic piece right here. It was not got off of there when they removed it. So we already removed it. But this was a demo model anyway, which is fine. So I guess that's fine. A little bit. Something's happening. I'm trying to get that plastic out from the pickup screw. Look, I can screw the whole pickup stuff out. So it's kind of aggravating there. There's another piece over here noticed. Just let them get it off. Don't leave it on, it's already off. I did not know that, but that's fine, no big deal. This is also the time where I normally take my contact cleaner and spray. I'm not going to spray the pots because I have to take all this out, but I still can spray the switch, the 5-way. It's just contact. It's called contact cleaner or electric cleaner, and this evaporates really quickly. So don't worry about it being wet and everything. Just leave this over here in case I need it again. And usually I would, like I said, do the pots as well, but there's no need in trying to do all this stuff. There's no scratching or anything like that, so I don't have to worry about that. Now let's get the get this side for some polish. And I've left the little guard thing off here because I had to adjust the truss rod when I first got it, and I didn't know how many times I'd have to do it again, so I just left that off right for it. Alright, now we can turn it over and go on this flat side here. This is a Music Nomad neck block. It's good to get familiar with all the components of the guitar. Learn how to set things up yourself. Saves you a lot of time in the long run. And it's really good. To me, this is like therapeutic. Just getting out here, working on the guitars. I actually put some Velcro, just like Steve does. I put some Velcro back here so that I can easily take this off. Here's a little tip. Usually some there's some sponge right in here to keep these springs from vibrating. So that's a cool little tip. They have a tendency to vibrate, that's for sure. Right. That's good there. So I can actually just claw without having to take this thing off every time. This actually causes it to not be flush anymore, but that doesn't bother me. I don't even notice it. Okay, so now it's polished. Now we get to start putting springs on. Strings on. So get the polish up. Let's go ahead and crack open one of these bad boys. Oh, the other thing I just remembered I need to do too. And I've had a tip on this before that I've put on YouTube. See, that's what they look like. Lemon blueberry pop tarts. Try them; they're awesome. This other tip that I had, I don't think I have a Q-tip anymore, but I need to find one. I need to keep some out here. Taking a little bit of this 3-in-1 oil and squirting it on these posts makes them turn like new. And now's the time to do it. Whenever you're setting stuff like this up. This is the hardest thing to get off. I don't think I have. See, this would be perfect for a Q-tip. And I used one the last time, but I don't have one in here now, so I'm going to have to just do this kind of deal. A bit right there, a bit right there. And when you get it in there, give it some good turns. That A string, that A one's the one I've been feeling a lot. Makes it smooth as silk. The more professional models of this stuff, of this guitar, like the 4 GM and the two grand plus versions of this, they feel as smooth as butter. And I thought I got gypped a little bit on the tremolo system whenever I got this because it was really rough, scratchy. But I had that idea and it's worked great ever since. So again, you have to pardon my comments. Well, at least I know I had one viewer, so somebody knows it's live. Alright, so next, since this is done, put that up, it's done now. That away. Let's put everything back to where it was. That way I know what stuff is. Next up, we're going to take a pack of strings. And since this is a Floyd Rose guitar, I want to use better strings than I normally would because this is a pain to change the strings on. And I want to make it last so I don't have to change them as much. So, what I'm going to do is, number one, forget the fact that I had on the back of this guitar. Oh, I don't have it. Okay, that's a different one. I need to get me one of those Goto adjustment things like I've got on my other guitar for all the Allen wrenches and everything. So I'm going to pick a set of strings, and the ones I'm going to pick are these say 9.5, but they're just fine for this guitar. Core Bond light tension from Black Diamond Strings. Thanks to Black Diamond for these. I'm sponsored by Black Diamond, and these are great strings. Okay. The thing with Core Bond is its technology improves the core to wrap wire bond by using a especially patented formula and method for interfusing the core and wrap wire, which minimizes galvanic corrosion and performance wear. The results are durable, long-lasting strings that are corrosion resistant, will not fray, and will retain exceptional tone with more sustain. And let's see, longer life, extended tone. I may be wrong about this, and because I haven't looked at it in a while, but I think these strings, they guarantee them for 60 days of tone. Not breakage, but tone. So you have to go to their website to find out more. BlackDiamondStrings.com. You can find out more about them. but that's the ones I'm going to use. And I always do this too. I always have a pen handy because I always want to write. This says, stop, visit blackdiamondstrings.com/core for important information. This may be having something to do with the warranty, so that's where I would go to check that out. First thing I do on these is, I know this is core bond, is I write the date, which now it is after 5 or 6, so I'm actually going to count it as the next day. So I'm going to count it as the 23rd of May, and then I'm going to write the guitar that this was changed on. Ibanez JEM JR. And I know they're core bond watts because of this. If it didn't have this on here, I would have to write down whatever kind of strings they are. But this is the, let's see, 6th string. Okay, so these are individually wrapped. So I guess I'll start with a 6th string. And then I keep this, there's a place over here where I keep this in my other spot. So I haven't ever changed these strings, so they're going to go on top. It's the latest ones that I changed will be on top. These are all the guitars that I string, and that lets me know what strings I have on last, how long it takes to change those, and everything. I always keep these packaged for that. So let's go ahead and start the process. Now some people like to wind these and leave the ball ends at the front. I tried that once and found that not to be too fun. So I'm just going to do like most people say and snip off the ball end. And I think that happens, and you put it into where the little thick part here is. You can snip it over right there where the thick part is. For Floyd Roses, this is what you need to do to get that in there. Okay, so now I can take the whammy bar, put it back on, since I don't need to flip it over anymore. For now. I may have to if I run into a problem with the springs. Take that and go ahead, loosen that back up. Put this in here. And then bring it back up and tighten it. What's going on? I think I know what's going on. There we go. That's what it should be saying. It's tight, too tight. It's one down. And let's just go ahead and do this now, since I'm not going to flip it over. Loosen all these back up. Just loosening it enough where it's seen come away from the block. The screws themselves come away from the block. Next string. Yeah. I'll just put that in off for you. No comments yet, man. Where's everybody at? Just Thursday, man. Like it's big Friday night or anything. Just a little. to where it's tight, and then I twist a little bit extra. That's the way I do it. Third string, or in this case, fourth string. Next one. Now the third string. This is where I'll probably do the whole string. Since there's no windings on it, I'll just cut it past the last one there. I wish I could listen to some music, but you know how YouTube is. They'll copyright strike me all the time. So what I was saying was right where that wind ends, since it's not wound with the outside string, I'll just cut it off right there. Where that winding ends from the first time. One thing that's important about this is you really need to pay attention when you're mounting this that these are on knife edges, because this thing has a tendency sometimes to slip out, and you string it up before you realize it's on an angle because one of these aren't lined up on the bridge. So you definitely got to watch out for that. And then the last string, the first one. Okay, that one bounced. Right. Now we start winding the string. Okay, so let's just go with first one here. What I need to do, here's what I will do, is go ahead and go past, probably up to there, 1, 2 posts over, and come back. And then here's the secret, okay? I've done this on many things. So we're going to go towards this direction and bend this. Okay, and then I'm going to wrap this around and over, coming back down. Just like this, okay? Now for this first one, I don't have to worry about coming through because I just loop that into there. But the rest of them I'll need to come through before I do this thing, okay? So, first thing I'm going to do is hold this, and get my little tool here, make sure I'm going that way, this way, the opposite way. Going underneath, since I already wrapped it on the top, that serves as a little lock mechanism. The string kind of has its own little here. Wasn't too fun. I need to deal with that. Okay, and that's another. Looks good. So the next string, go underneath. Now I've done a tip on this too. This is really good to keep these little things hanging around, because when you have a Floyd Rose, it's hard to get that string come back up. So what you do is you loop it in this hole, and then that serves as a way to get it out. So that's really handy. Keep 1 or 2 of those around for that very purpose. Okay, so we're going to go 1 string peg and a little bit more, bring it back, do a bend, come back over and around. Now, as you get closer to this, it's harder to do that, but do what we can. Just feeding that underneath so the winds underneath itself. Okay, it's got a little bit of a tone to it, so we're going to go to the next string. Any comments so far? Nope, got one person watching. Leave me some comments, man. There's nobody commenting on this. Family friendly, please. I just have to remind people about that. All right, I'm going to go over about 2 string heights. Maybe, yeah. And that little bend. And once it gets harder to wrap this around the top like that, I'm just going to wind it. And when it goes around, wrap it around the top. You'll see. We do that anymore since the bar is kind of kinking the string a little bit. So we'll just have to come back here and make sure it's threading right. Oops, forgot to come over here. And for the last one, you don't have to worry about this post because I'm just going to wrap it under at the end. Usually that one's too thick to do that little mechanism, so what I'm going to do is let it go over the top first, then come underneath. Go ahead and bend this up so that kind of locks it. Then start bending that, putting that down. I'll tug up a little bit each time. And then feed that through as I go. And look at that, a lot cleaner. 2, maybe 3 wraps is all you need if you know how to do your stuff. Now the fun part is we tune the bad boy up, and for that I'm going to need my tuner. So tuner here, turn that on. All right, so now I'll just take that and I usually set this up like this and use that to support the horn on the tuning. And for that I also need a pick. So this is needed with this as well. And I've also got another video on how to tune the Floyd Rose. It's very easy. But basically you're going to go back and forth. You're going to go to low E, high E, A, B, then G, D. You're going to keep doing that over and over again. And that balances it out on both sides. what I'm doing now is trying to get it up to pitch. And when everything's up to pitch and it's stable, then I start stretching the strings. Now, if I didn't have that cloth under here, this would take a lot longer. Right now, it's almost there. It's actually staying in tune very well. Okay, so yeah, the cloth actually keeps it stable. Okay, so now we put this back down, and I start stretching the strings. So the way I do it is I come up, back and forth, and then down here I press. Okay, up, farther up, back and forth, press a couple times. Now also I forgot to do something which don't really matter here on Floyd Rose, I think, but usually I'll put down some sort of I use what's called Rein Martinez's what's that called? Pull it out here so you can see it and stuff. Graphidol. I think you can still buy this, but this is what I use. This by Stevie Ray Vaughan's Guitar Tech, and this has lasted me for years. Basically, it's just graphite mixture. You take a little Q-tip, not Q-tip, but I usually use these little flossers. I'll dip that in there and put it where the nut is, and then I'll use the floss to kind of rub it in a lot better. Mainly for acoustics and guitars that do not have a locking system. Since this is where the strings end, there's no use in having this. But if I didn't have the locking system, then yes, I would put it down here on the nut so they wouldn't get pinched up in the nut and different things like that. But I don't need it for this guitar. So I think I got to the G string. Let's go to the D string. That same process, and I think I've also heard it's good to do it down here too. A string.